No, it's not, I think, but it's something which every club is dealing with. So whether that's, as it is with myself, my first job, or whether that's an experienced manager, it's something we all have to deal with, not just managers, but players as well. So I'll do that to the best of my ability, and deal with the issues I need to deal with, but more importantly, try and get the lads playing.
What do you hope you can achieve as a manager? I mean, obviously, you hope there's a long managerial career ahead of you, but specifically now with Derby County, what's the target?
Yeah, I think first of all, we just have to take it game by game. It's what we've been doing over the last couple of months, and I don't think there's any need to change what we've been doing in terms of our preparation. How we've been going about our day-to-day business will stay the same. And yeah, I think it's an exciting time for myself and the other staff, but for the players as well. I think it's great for them to have some clarity on who the boss is full time, and so I think it's a big moment in the season for us at the football club.
Yeah, sure. I mean, look, new managers tend to be given money to spend when they take over the job, so they can mould the squad a little bit as they would like, and there is a transfer window open, but I suspect with everything going on, that's pretty unlikely for you right now, is it?
Yeah, I think at the minute I need to put players forward who I'd like to bring in. If that's doable, great. If not, I've got different plans on different ways of working in the transfer window. I think, as everyone knows, the last week of the transfer window in January is very important. So I've got plans in place which I've had in place for the last few weeks. So if we can get some of them players in towards the end of January, then that would be great.
Look, I've got to ask you about your playing career, because as big a story as you taking your first step into management is you ending your illustrious playing career today. Have you had a chance to digest that? Because it's a big old decision, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think normally this happens at the end of a season, and the player, as a player, you'd have time to reflect on it. But for me, it obviously happened during the season. I think the last couple of months obviously has helped break that in, and for me, it's given me time to sit down and think about that. But as I said a few weeks ago, my future, I feel, is in management. I've had a great career. I've enjoyed every minute, some ups, some downs, but I wouldn't change anything I've done in my career as a player, and hopefully I can start now to write some history and have a successful managerial career.
I'd like to know what the downs are. Let's go through it. Everton debut was at 16. England's all-time leading goal scorer with 53 goals. England's most capped outfield player with 120 caps. 16 major trophies. 5 Premier League titles, Champions League, Europa League, FA Cup, League Cup, Club World Cup. Any regrets?
No, I think I've been very fortunate to play for some massive teams, obviously, to come through the academy at Everton and play in the first team there was a boyhood dream of mine. Then to go and play for 13 years at Manchester United and win the trophies we won is obviously the highlight of my career. To stay at that club, such a huge club, one of, if not the biggest club in the world, to stay there for so long and achieve what I achieved there is something I'm grateful for the club for giving me that opportunity, but I enjoyed every minute of it. And then, of course, going out to the States, it was more going back to Everton, then going out to the States, and then coming into Derby County was more trying to help the team be successful, but also it was more to gain a lot of experience in different leagues, to obviously prepare myself the best way to come into this role today.
I mean, look, whenever we saw you on the football pitch, even now when you in the latter stage of your career, when you were at Derby County, you looked like a player who absolutely loves playing football. You relished it, and we remember that so vividly when you were a 16-year-old, when you played for Everton. What will you miss about that now? What will you miss about being a player?
Yeah, I think it's natural. My whole life it's what I know is playing football. So I'm very fortunate that I'm staying around football. I'm still going into the dressing room, not with the players, but obviously with the staff. So you can still be part of it, and it's a different buzz. It's a different buzz. Stands on the touchline when you win a game, or when you put a plan in place which the players execute. It's a completely different buzz. So yeah, it's a new chapter for me. Of course, if you ask, will I miss playing? Of course, I think every player who stops playing misses it. But obviously, time doesn't stop for no man. So I've had my time. It's time for obviously the younger generation to have theirs, and for me to try and guide them young players to be better players.
When it's back to the situation at Derby, and it's clearly been a difficult time with the coronavirus outbreak, and a big number of the squad not being paid their salaries. How difficult is that for you? I mean, it's clearly been difficult for the players, but how difficult has it been for you to sort of motivate those players, keep them galvanised, keep them going when they're suffering?
Yeah, I think obviously for the players, the one thing I can't control is what's happening with the takeover. That's obviously in the hands of the board and the new potential owners. And so that's on them. They have to deal with that and get that sorted. And then the one thing I can control is how the players prepare, how they train, how they prepare for the game on match day. And that's what the message is to the players. We can only control what we do in the dressing room, what we do on the training ground, and what we do on match day. And we have to trust everything else at board level will get done and put in place for us.
Clearly, you take over a difficult time, a complicated time, an uncertain time, crucially. Have you had a conversation with Sheikh Khalid's people and the new owners? Did you need to be convinced before signing a 2.5-year contract that you wanted to be part of this project going forward?
No, this football club is a huge football club, and the takeover, the potential takeover, is well underway, and hopefully that's done soon. But regardless of that, this club will always be here. It'll always be trying to grow and trying to achieve big things. So for me to be at the front of that and try and lead these players, try and lead this club back to glory days is a big opportunity for me, and I had no worries about what's going on behind the scenes. I've obviously spoke to Mel Morris, to Stephen Pearce, and the potential new owners, and I'm confident that everything will get sorted and we can concentrate on playing football and trying to win football matches.
Last one from me. I don't know whether you've had a chance to tell the players that you're the official new boss yet. If you have, what have you told them? And if not, what will be your first message to them?
No, I haven't told them. Obviously, we've been trying to sort everything out over the last few hours. In the middle of that, obviously, the training session, the preparation for the game tomorrow. But I'm sure they know now. But to be honest, I think everyone's been expecting it. I think it's been a good first couple of months in management for myself. It can get better, of course. The players can get better, of course. So, yeah, I'm sure a lot of the players will be excited and happy, and I'm sure some players might be a bit anxious to see where that leaves them.
Good man. Very best of luck, Wayne. Thank you, sir.
Hi Wayne, good luck on the job. Well done. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Was there never any point where you thought about being a player manager?
No, I think it was impossible, I think, to manage the team and then to go out on the pitch and try and perform as a player as well. It was too much. I know players have done that in the past, and probably the most successful one in Kenny Dalglish doing that, but I felt for me I had to play the game or a manager. I didn't feel I could do both.
In terms of being the manager now, I mean, how difficult will it be, especially tomorrow against Rotherham, knowing that you're never going to set a foot on a pitch again to influence a game?
Yeah, I think that's been coming. This moment has been coming in terms of me stopping playing. I've come to terms with that over the last 2 months, and now I've got a new excitement, a new buzz to try and fulfil my potential as a manager. So I'm excited. I'm looking forward to the game tomorrow. It'll be a tough game. Rotherham are a tough team to play against. They work very hard, good intensity. So our players will be ready for that.
When you first took over in that group of 4 ahead of the game, I think it was at Bristol City, wasn't it, a couple of months ago, I asked you if you'd spoken to previous managers like Sir Alex, like David Moyes. I'm going to ask you now, have you spoken to people like Frank Lampard and Steven Gerrard who've gone down your route about the differences and about the excitement of becoming a manager? Because they've both taken the reins in the last couple of years. Yeah,
I spoke to Steven Gerrard yesterday, actually. Obviously, he's a good friend of mine, and just spoke to him to have a chat. It was a good chat with him, and yeah, of course, speaking to players who are a little bit older than me, obviously, but I've gone down the managerial route at a young age as well. Can only benefit. Of course, we have different ideas, different ways, different styles in how we see the game or approach the game, but it's no harm in speaking and learning from their experiences and seeing what they've been through in the last couple of years.
Looking back on your career, and as your son has joined Manchester United, I suppose you've been looking back on it in the last few weeks. What was the best moment, the highlight? And please don't say the goal at West Ham.
Which one?
Oh, from the halfway line.
I scored 2 from the halfway line against West Ham, so which one?
All right. No, what was the real highlight then?
No, I think for me, I think there's so many. I think winning the first Premier League medal was a huge moment for us as a team. That was the start of our team going on a real run of dominance, and then obviously the Champions League. And I think a big moment for me was winning the FA Cup at Sutton, which I watched Everton do as a fan in '95. I lost 2 finals, and then I didn't think it was going to happen. And then to win it as captain and lift the FA Cup at Wembley was a special moment.
If there's one thing you change, would it be winning anything with England and that golden generation?
Yeah, I think that's everyone from that team. We had a fantastic team, and we were very unlucky in 2004 losing on penalties, and 2006 losing on penalties in the quarterfinals. So yeah, of course you can look back and there's things which you change. I think obviously a big disappointment for myself was getting a red card against Portugal, but that's football. You have highs, you have lows, and I've been one of the lucky ones who've had many highs and won many trophies. Finally,
your team hopefully will have lots of highs under you and score lots of goals, and that brings me to the thing everyone's talking about right now, celebrating goals. Not celebrating as teams, not celebrating together, keeping socially distanced. How are you as a manager going to enforce that, and where do you stand on that?
I think it's difficult. What's happening in the world today is it's difficult to take that emotion out of the game, but we know as players, as the manager of these players, I have to obviously remind them of the duties. There's many people falling sick, there's many people losing their lives from this disease, so if I'll give the message to the players to obviously be aware of the goal celebrations, but on the other hand, we'll understand if players do hug each other, because I know what it's like when you score a goal. A lot of the time your mind goes blank and you don't realise what you're doing, but I will be giving them that message to make sure we try and stick to the COVID rules and try and have less contact with each other as possible.
Congratulations again, and many congratulations on the job, and good luck for the future.
Thank you.
Hi, Wayne Collins, BBC. Nice to talk to you as permanent manager. Just a couple from me, really. I just wondered about style, first of all. You talked at the beginning about trying to strip things back to basics, make things simpler. Have you found, well, obviously it's worked for you in results terms. Do you see that as the way you're going to play going forward, keeping that game very, very simple?
I think it depends on your players and depends on your team. Of course, there's a way I'd like the team to play. I think we've done very well of what I'm asking the players to do at the minute. And as I said when I first took this role, I think some players are getting better at doing different things. I think, for instance, Graham Shinney has been fantastic, and a lot of his qualities is what he does off the ball, his energy, getting about the pitch. But I think what has improved so much over the last 6 to 8 weeks is his ability on the ball. I think he's improved massively. Other players are improving massively at different aspects of the game, and that's all I can ask from the players, to try and keep improving and try and keep taking the messages I'm asking them to do on the pitch. And if we keep doing that, we can keep developing as a team and get better and drip feed new ideas in when I feel the time is right.
Can I ask about your relationship within the coaching setup and how that's developed both personally and professionally, in terms of how you divided it up and how that relationship has worked between all of you as a group?
Yeah, I think there's no change from what we've been doing for the last 6 to 8 weeks. Liam Rosenior is the assistant manager. I think he's a fantastic coach. He's a real help to me, obviously on the training pitch. I've moved Shea Given up to first team coach. I think from goalkeeper coach, he wants to develop himself as a coach. He's been doing that over the last 6 to 8 weeks, and he's been really impressive in the work he's been doing. Justin Walker, obviously he come in under Phillip Cocu from the academy. He's been fantastic to work with, some great ideas and a real help. And Jason Pearce will step in from the academy as goalkeeper coach. So I'm delighted with the staff I have there. We work well, we gel well together. So I'm looking forward to working with them for the long term, and excited by it.
Just lastly, I know you can't control what goes on off the field, but is there an element of frustration there? You sat in that chair and said, I'm hoping to hear something in 48 hours, and that was 6.5 weeks ago, I think. So is there a bit of frustration that it hasn't happened and hasn't moved quicker?
Yeah, I think of course there is. I think everyone at the football club wants this to happen as quick as possible, including myself. But I understand as I said before, the world we're living in at the minute. It's very difficult circumstances for not just people in football, but people in other businesses, other line of work. And so it's important what's important is the deal isn't rushed and done too quickly. I think it's better to take time and make sure it's done right. So as I said before, hopefully it will get done as soon as possible. But I think the important thing is that everything put in place is done correctly.
Thank you very much, and congratulations again.
Thank you.
Hello, Wayne. Steve here from ITV News. I've not got a lot more to add, really. I will just say thank you for all your England performances as you've on the day you give up playing.
Thank you.
A pretty basic question, really, but how well do you feel the team are prepared for this first game with you as full-time manager? Obviously, you've had such a difficult build-up.
Yeah, the lads have been fantastic this week in training. Obviously, we were off isolating because of what happened last week, and we got programs sent out to the lads to train at home and keep on top of the fitness. And I have to say, since they've been in this week, the energy they've shown has been great, and the lads are ready, they're prepared. I've no doubt about that. Both physically and tactically, we're ready for the game tomorrow, and I'm looking forward to a good, tough game tomorrow, and hopefully we can get a positive result.
Thank you for your time, Wayne. Thanks for talking to us today.
Thank you.
Hi, Wayne. Was there ever any doubt, Wayne, about taking the role permanently? Your peers have been mentioned, Steven Gerrard, Frank Lampard, their first job's very important. The tools they have seem different to yours because of the situation at Derby at the moment. So do you have to think carefully about taking the job full time?
Yeah, I think any decision you make in life, of course you'd have to think carefully and make sure you're making the right decision. So of course there was questions which I asked to the club, and I wouldn't be sat here as manager if I didn't get the answers which I was looking for.
And the fans will also put two and two together and think that the takeover is very close to being completed because you are sitting there. What would you say to them? Yeah,
well, I'm with them, and hopefully that is the case. So yeah, I think for the fans, it's a shame. I think it's a shame that the fans aren't in the stadium at the minute, because I think some of the football we're playing, they'll enjoy watching. We're playing with a great energy and great passion in the team, but also some very gifted players. So it's a shame that they're not at the stadium to see that. But I know they're supporting at home and watching the games, and we'll try and keep performing for them, and hopefully the new owners and the previous owners can start supporting us from the other side.
Will there be any difference from Wayne Rooney, the interim manager, and Wayne Rooney, the permanent manager? Will you change anything now you've got the gig full time?
No, I think as I've said in the previous weeks, I've took this job very seriously. It's something which I believe in my ability to do, and I feel I've been doing a good job along with the other staff, so I don't think there's a need for me to change how we're preparing the team and what we're asking of the players to do. There's no need to make any drastic changes just because the title has changed.
You mentioned it to Rob earlier about the motivation of the players, but when they were told, and when Stephen Pearce told you about the delay in wages, did you notice there was a drop in morale? Did you have to cajole them? Did you have to bring them all together, or have they just got on with their jobs?
I think naturally, you're doing a job, then obviously you want them paying for that job, and that will happen. Of course, the players will get paid. It's a matter of just making sure we get this takeover sorted out. I made that clear to the players, and I've obviously haven't just stepped foot off the football pitch as a player. The one thing you can do is you can go out on the football pitch and enjoy your training, and the players have done that. They've worked really hard in that, and as I said, that's what we can control, and we have to obviously hope the other side is sorted out for us, because it's pointless as going over the top too much the other way when we can't control that.
A couple of final ones on your players, Wayne. Have you been told, maybe you haven't, about your plans for the window in terms of will you have to lose players if you're able to bring some in? Reports that maybe some of the club's star academy players might be moved on to ease the financial situation. As the permanent manager now, what have you been told about what you might have to do to raise funds?
Well, I know which players I want at this football club. Which players are already here and which players will stay here, and which players I'd like to bring in. I've already made my targets clear of who I'd like to come in, and of course it's football. Players maybe might go out, which I'm trying to build a team which I feel can challenge in this league, to get out of this league. And I've seen the reports on the younger players leaving. That's not the case. The players who I want to stay at this football club will stay.
So players like Cade Gordon, for instance, who's made such an impact with your side, you can assure fans that he's not going to be one, for instance, that might be moving on. Yeah,
Cade is a fantastic player, and I think he's got a lot of potential. He's been at this club. He's obviously come through the academy. He's 16 years of age. He's got a lot of development to do, and he's definitely the right place to do that. And of course, there will be interest in Cade because he's a fantastic player. So we're expecting there to be interest in him. But as I said before, we can control what we're doing at this football club, and we can't control if other teams make bids for our players. That's something we can't control.
Lastly for me, Wayne, then Dwayne Holmes, is he likely to complete his move over the weekend?
No, Dwayne is obviously, again, he's a fantastic football player. He's got 6 months left on his contract. So now obviously taking over the job full time, that's something I can sit down with Dwayne and speak to him about what the plans are for the future.